Hi everybody. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? Oh my god, you guys. I'm so excited, but I'm so nervous, but I'm so excited. But I'm so nervous. I got to tell you what I'm so excited about. I'm both. I'm excited and nervous. I got to tell you guys what's going on. Hopefully everybody's here. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome, okay? So, I was like, okay, I got to do a transcript read, but it's like so much. How do I go back and forth on these transcripts, right? And I think I figured out how to do this without like AI. Because let me tell you, I'm not a fan of it. I know people have said go AI, but AI is pretty costly. And honestly, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do the AI. I feel like it's missing like a voice personality thing. You know what I mean? So I got something close to it, I think. I got like an in between. So I found this program called Speechify where they read you you upload the document and they read you the entire document. My only thing that I'm nervous about isn't are you guys going to be able to hear it? Cuz I could hear it, but I don't know if you guys can hear it. So I was like, well, let me test it out because if that is the case, oh my god, that's going to help me with all the stuff that I have been like behind on. Like now I can just upload the documents and get an audio recording and then just put it out there as an audio. I'm so here for it. So I'm hoping that it works. Now we can have this document read in various voices. Like I think Gwyneth Paltrow is okay. Gwyneth Paltrow, Snoop Dogg is a voice. Mr. Beast, believe it or not, is actually really good at court reading some of this stuff because I'm not a fan of Mr. Beast. You guys know that, but um I'm listening. I'm like, oh, okay, I could see him reading these documents. I get it. I know, no way. I do not like the AI, but this I think is I'm not AI, but this document read might be. And I said, huh, um, I'm here for it, but I don't know if you guys can hear it. So I'm gonna test a little bit of it. Diddy is not an option. Wouldn't that be some shit? Diddy reading his own court documents and being the court translator. I cannot. Wouldn't that be some stuff? Let me try it and let's see if it works. Because if it works, I'm gonna be I'm excited because especially because I put in my credit card and everything. So let's start. I think I have Snoop Dogg on, but we could change it up if Snoop Dogg does too much. Let me start right now.
The court. Good morning. Please be seated. I did not receive any notification of any issues
Do you
for
hear
this
it?
morning. Or does either side have any issues to address? Ms. Kamai, I don't believe we have any evidentiary disputes for your honor.
Do
The
you hear
court. Great. Ms. Jaragos, that's correct. The court. We received the parties' verdict sheets, which are the same, largely, with respect to counts 2 through 5, except the ordering of the jurors' choices and the title for counts 3 and 5. The big difference has to do with the racketeering conspiracy. And so the defense has proposed a simple instruction that simply says not guilty or guilty and then has the jury fill in the racketeering acts. I don't think it's going to be feasible to have the jury write in the racketeering acts without. I think that's a recipe for disaster. They need some guidance and structure as to how to make that determination. And so I'm inclined to go with the government's approach to this. But I'm open to an alternative that would be simpler and that the defense might suggest. So my main issue is just
all right, let me stop. Let me stop. All right, so let's go back a little bit. Okay, we have a variety of decisions, and maybe we can do a little poll here. Okay, so Snoop Dogg could be our reader. Maybe we should do a poll. Who should read the documents today? Who should read the documents today? Listen, that gives me a break from my voice. And I'm here for it, okay? No, literally, like my voice has been a little bit crazy, and my significant others have said you need to just calm your vocals a little bit because your voice is a little bit crazy, and that's going to help me catch up with the other ones that I'm so behind. So I'm so here for it. Yes, thank you. Much less time. I'm here for it, okay? And yes, I put in a little extra, but whatever. Okay, so we can do Snoop. Who else? There's Mr. Beast, which y'all know I'm not a fan of. But he actually does have a pretty good AI voice. Gwyneth Paltrow, which in my opinion, she's got a sleepy voice. Like her voice puts me to sleep. I'm not a fan. So Gwen. And then there's some other ones like there's like 296 voices here. Somebody named Nate, Erica, or we could just put, these are the 3 celebrities. I'm going to put other male or female, but we got to land on a voice, okay? Go vote and hit the like button, okay? Hit the like button. Did I not come through with a different voice? I sure as hell did. And no, Diddy is not a narrator, because this would be interesting to have Diddy read the documents. And I was reading, I said, oh my God, am I going to get it? I hope I don't get a copyright, but I don't think I will, because the document is considered mine, not Samuel L. Jackson. I wonder if he's a voice, actually. I think Snoop is pretty good, though, but let me know. Rabbit is not a choice. I'm sorry, Daisy. I got to take a break from my voice. I do, because my voice just, like, my throat hurts, so I got to recuperate my voice. I'm not trying to go completely gone. Not Fitty is not on the list. Pick somebody from the list and go vote. Hold up. Okay, look at you guys. You guys said other male or female voice. Okay, we could definitely do another male or female voice. No, 0% said Mr. Beast. You said switch up the voices every 3 pages. We can do that. We can do that. Okay, I think that's a good idea. So I'm going to choose Cliff. So some of you guys were not, I mean, you guys said 41% Snoop. We'll start with Snoop, maybe like 5 or 6 pages, and then we'll switch up the voice, okay? Morgan Freeman is not here, okay? But I do think it's a good idea, maybe switch up the voices every so often. I am. I'm like, oh my God, somebody's got to help me. And AI, and it's not AI all the way. Like, I'm here, but I'm like gonna give commentary to it. Bruce is not a choice. I'm sorry, because that would be my voice. Wesley Snipes is not a choice. I'm sorry. Morgan Freeman is not a choice. Okay, so this is my thought. Start with this, maybe switch it up every once in a while, go male to female, pick different voices. That's what we'll do. I'm liking this. I love it. I love it. All right. Here's the other thing I'm going to say. So for those that are kind of new, like what's going on, if you guys remember today morning, June 23rd, Monday morning, we had a couple things that the court was looking at that we're going to look at. What is it? Argument 29 about a potential acquittal. Again, the defense feels like none of the evidence that has been brought up, should be, it meets anything of, of any kind of conviction. That's what the defense feels like. So they start kind of going back and forth on that. They're talking about any things that they need to meet and start up before they start the hearing. So that's kind of where they're at right now. Right now, the lawyers, if you didn't understand what Snoop was saying, Snoop was reading about the charges sheet and the breakdown. So that's what they're going through right now. So we're going to hit play. We're going to start. For those that are coming through, hit the like button. I'd appreciate it.
Just having the jurors without, having any, obviously, they have the instructions, but there's a potential for the jury to be confused and to write in something that would not correspond to one of the charged racketeering acts. That's my concern. So if the defense has a suggestion of how to address that, perhaps in a simpler way than as presented in the government's proposed verdict sheet, I'm all ears, but that's my concern. And Ms. Shapiro, thank you, Your Honor. I think what I'd like to do is consult with my colleagues, and we'll get back to the court. I just wanted to know. So typically, verdict sheets for substantive RICO charges do list each of the charged predicate acts with a proven, not proven choice. Typically in this district and in others that I've seen where there's only a RICO conspiracy, there's no indication at all as to what the jury has determined with respect to the racketeering acts, so that part is not even a special verdict form. We thought it might be helpful to have something in the hopefully unlikely event there's ever a sentencing in this case, but I'd like to just consult with my colleagues and consider it. But the ones we've seen in the past, other than a special sentencing factor, which here seem unnecessary, and I think the government seems to agree based on their verdict sheet, because we have the 2 substantive counts, so we'll know whether the jury found sex trafficking. But can we just consult amongst ourselves? The court, yes, you can definitely consult on that. On the special sentencing factor, here's my question for you. You're right that substantively there's 100% overlap between the sentencing factor and counts 2 and 4. However, at least as it's depicted in the government's verdict sheet, and I think this is right, there is a universe where the jury might say, you obviously don't think they're going to say guilty on anything, but that they could say guilty on counts 2 and 4. However, We do not believe that to the extent that those things happened, they were part of any kind of RICO conspiracy. And so they say that the special sentencing factor on the RICO conspiracy charge was not satisfied. Is that an option? Or did I just make that up and it makes no sense? Do you get my, Ms. Shapiro? Yeah. The court, how the government has set it out, it says that the special sentencing factor was that there was sex trafficking in connection with a RICO conspiracy. And that's different than counts 2 and 4. So that's the one, Ms. Shapiro. I guess that's right. But I'd like to think about that a little bit. The court, all right. So that's the second thing. Ms. Shapiro, the only other thing I wanted to say about the order is that given that the government has the burden of proof, we think it's more appropriate to put not P6NWCOM guilty on the left. The court, that's fine. That's fine. And then one last point that relates to the first point, which is, and I'll hear from both sides, there is, let's say the jury thought that there were 2 racketeering acts, but that the 2 racketeering acts were both in the same category. So they were both instances of possession with intent to distribute or prostitution, etc. The government's verdict sheet doesn't designate that. And so I'm just raising that as another concern. Ms. Shapiro, well, that was another reason we thought it was better not to list them out, because the verdict sheet would be way too complicated and really prejudicial to us if, every potential racketeering act was actually listed out as opposed to listing them out by categories. And I know their position has always been that failing to prove it means categories, for instance, and that the enterprise letter is just notice. But I think we need to think about all that. If the court feels it's important to list out the racketeering acts, we need to think about what's the best way to do it. But like I said, in other cases, the other verdict sheets that I've seen in the cases in which only a RICO conspiracy was charged and not a RICO substantive, there's actually no listing of any racketeering acts. The most recent one that I'm aware of is the Archegos case, USV, Bill H. Wang, P6NWCOM, and others in that one. Honestly, didn't have a special sentencing factor. It was a fraud and securities manipulation case, so there was no special sentencing factor. But there were multiple racketeering acts alleged in the verdict, which just says count 1, not guilty, whatever. So, but anyway, if we could just get back to the court, hopefully later today. The court, to be clear, I haven't looked at this. When I saw both verdict sheets, my understanding was that both sides wanted the jury to make an explicit finding on the racketeering acts because the defense had put in this line about what racketeering acts the jury had found. It was only a question of how to elicit that response from the jury. So if you're saying that courts in this district typically haven't even asked that question, then I'll consider that. It just wasn't presented. And Ms. Shapiro, I understand. But we'll get back to the court with our final position. The court, all right. Ms. Kamai, yes, Your Honor. I just wanted to note that in every RICO conspiracy case I've personally tried in this district and every one I've supervised, there has been a verdict form with these findings, and it's precisely for the reasons that Your Honor articulated. P6NWCOM, and that Ms. Shapiro guessed, which is 1. With respect to special sentencing factors, Your Honor hit the nail right on the head. I do think that there's a fine difference, but a difference between the special sentencing factors and whether they were part of the RICO conspiracy in counts 2 and 4. And so that's why I think we need that finding under Apprendi. And then with respect to the predicates, Ms. Shapiro is absolutely right. Because this is not a substantive racketeering charge, it is not required that the jury find each predicate, but it is helpful if there is a conviction, both for sentencing and on appeal. If on appeal, any of the predicate acts are found to have been insufficient or there were issues with them, if the jury has checked the box or multiple enough to still uphold the guilty verdict, that can be very, very helpful with the appellate record. So that's why my office's practice, at least, again, in every case I've handled and supervised, has always had those verdict forms. I've seen it both ways. I've seen it the way that we propose, which is just found or not found. I've also seen it where it's proven, not proven. And if proven, is it 1 or 2 or more? So those are the options I've seen. I have never seen what Ms. Shapiro contemplated and did not want for a conspiracy, which is going incident by incident, because I do agree that would be inappropriate in a RICO conspiracy. The reason we didn't propose going with numbering of 1 or 2 or more for each is just because it becomes so unwieldy, given how many predicates there are here. But I have personally and supervised cases where we had boxes to check for whether the government had proven that when act was agreed to or 2 or more acts were agreed to under each predicate. The court understood. What you're saying, just so I understand it, is that if you didn't have that, it wouldn't matter because you don't have to have the jury make a finding as to each racketeering act. For instance, if they just checked the inducement to travel for purposes of prostitution and they didn't check anything else, that would be fine, because the assumption would be that they found multiple acts that fell within that category. That's combined. That's exactly right, Your Honor. And I know for the reasons I've said, I think it is prudent to have a verdict form like this for potential future proceedings. But if the defense objects to that and Your Honor is inclined not to include it, then our preference would be just a not guilty option without any sort of open-ended opportunity for the jurors to write on the verdict form. That's a recipe for disaster. In our view, the court, all right.
All right, let me stop right here. So, first of all, thank you, Sylvia, for the $4.99. I told you, Rab, it has all kinds of personalities. No fighting now. That's right, no fighting. I think this is important. Now, I'm not an expert whatsoever, but if you guys have been following, wasn't there an issue in the Karen Reed case? I think last summer, as it pertains to the charging sheet and there being a confusion on that, and then that kind of caused a mistrial. I could be wrong, but that caused like a mistrial. That was a situation that happened last summer. So I kind of wonder if they're trying to break it down so that people understand. Let me just say this for the record. There are maybe times where, like, as I'm hearing the charges and reading the transcripts, it does seem to me that this some stuff is very confusing as to how RICO is laid out. In part, and I wonder, well, okay, did it meet it on this? Did it meet it on that? But there were 2 different charging documents that were released. One for the prosecution, which we showed this morning, and also one for the defense, which was like much shorter, maybe 2 pages. Prosecution had 4 pages, and then it broke everything down. So I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, okay, I see. I like the breakdown because I understand how each and every one falls into it. But if I'm confused and they're kind of going about this and what this means, I mean, I would imagine what it would be like for the people out there sitting there feeling confused about this as well. Now, shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. This is a an application that I was like, well, let me put in my card, and oh, something just dropped, and put in my information. And what I did was I uploaded the court document, and I said, well, let me see if it can read to me. I didn't want, it's not like full on 1000% AI. It's very helpful though, because my voice is in and out. And now I'm like, well, I could just read the whole document. The whole document in itself, having Snoop read the whole thing, it's about 1 hour and 32 minutes. So I have to be done in an hour, but I might let this run all the way through, and I might be off camera and then, kind of call it a night so you guys can hear the whole hearing tonight. And I might just do that with everyone that I have missed and then just put it on that playlist. I like this. I really do. Now, we don't have to have Snoop Dogg reading. There's other people that read it. That just gives me a break from my voice. So there's the 3 celebrities that we have there is Snoop Dogg, Mr. Beast, and Gwyneth Paltrow. Now, if you're trying to go to sleep, Gwyneth Paltrow would be the one to put you to sleep. She got that sleepy voice, so she puts you to sleep. If you want an ASMR transcript read, Gwyneth Paltrow would be the one. Mr. Beast, he's actually, as much, I'm not a fan, but his voice is very good at all of it. Now, the thing is I can only like skip through so many of the things that Snoop is reading because he's constantly reading this P6. This is the document number, so I can't do anything about that. There's things that he struggles with pronunciation. Welcome to my world. Garagos is not a name that he knows how to say. Comey is another one, but I think Snoop is kind of getting everybody alert. Now we could switch it up. We can go to other ones. There's some other narrators that aren't celebrities. There's only 3 celebrities, if you know what I mean. You said, I'm so lost. I can't figure out who's talking, whether it's the judge, the government, or the defense. Maybe, no, Daisy, it could. And the thing is, it's like they do have the highlighted thing up there, Daisy. I know that must be hard because I have ADHD too. So I kind of have to like maybe slow it down a little bit, and that might help. But let me know, Daisy girl. I know. I'm so sorry. I just like this gives me a break for my voice because I literally don't want to get sick, and I'm trying my best. So, yeah, it's only 3 celebrities. So can we give this a try for tonight and see how it goes? And you guys give me your feedback in the chat. Like Daisy Girl, I could tell does not like it. Shout out to Daisy Girl. But if there's other people that like it or don't like it, I wish there was George Lopez in here. That would be amazing. But they don't have it. But we're gonna get through this document. Morrison would probably put me to sleep. Wendy, but he would be a great narrator. There's other people. I mean, there's other like characters. Hold up, let me show you. I mean, I'm sure we can't really see their voices, but we could switch it up. Like, there's Gwen, Mr. B, Snoop, Erica, the narrator. There's 296 voices that narrate. Okay, explore all 296. Gives you guys an idea of what we have here. Okay, but I didn't want to move too much of it. There's English. There's United States. There's, I'm sure, other kinds of English. Look at that. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom would be hard for me to follow. I have a hard time sometimes. But I mean, let me know. We could do Snoop for a little bit and then we could switch it up to somebody else. Is that cool? Can we do that? All right. I just want to get ahead and I want to follow through. And it's been very hard for me. And I feel bad that I haven't been able to follow through. Imagine Wendy Williams. Ooh, I would love it. I would love it. I could just see her narrating. Anyways, let me hit play, hit the like button, please, and thank you.
Ms. Shapiro. Ms. Shapiro. That's fine. Your Honor. I was just going to note, and I'll confer with Ms. Kamai about these examples she mentioned. The other one that I'm aware of that's recent is the Ray case, in which the only thing that was mentioned besides the, guilty, not guilty was the special sentencing factor. So I haven't seen any verdict forms along those lines. But we'll see what precedents she has and consult amongst ourselves and advise the court of our position. The court, all right. Very good. So now turning to the schedule, there was some email back and forth. But Ms. Kamai, did you have a reaction on how the parties would like to proceed? Mr. Agnifilo, yes, Judge, thank you. I wanted to add one thing that I think impacts the scheduling. At the end of the day, we're going to agree to the schedule as proposed by the government if that's agreeable to the court. The court, was there a proposal by the government? Mr. Agnifilo, I think they wanted to start the summations on Thursday. The court, on Thursday. I must have missed that. Mr. Agnifilo. And so there's one issue that I'm absolutely confident we can resolve that's related to prior. P6NWCOM, inconsistent statements of various of the government witnesses. We've been talking with the prosecutors and I think we're going to reach a stipulation. As Your Honor probably saw from time to time, a witness would testify to something. We would say, well, you said something else in a meeting with the prosecutors and agents. And so what we are in the process of doing is isolating those events where the proper foundation has been laid. And I think rather than calling a witness, an agent, someone who was in the room for the statement, I think we can reach agreement by stipulation as to these prior inconsistent statements. That being said, that is not something that we can do probably by. We can probably do that in Ms. Kamai, maybe by tomorrow or Wednesday. Hopefully by tomorrow. So I think if we bake that into the schedule, it makes sense to have the summation starting on Thursday. The court, all right. I think you basically said that you would come to an agreement on everything and we would basically start with closings on Thursday. Mr. Agnifilo, that's what I said. The court, okay. So if there's any dispute or issue to raise, I'll obviously hear from you. Ms. Kamai, I'll just recap it for Your Honor so you don't have to read it. Given that we're now in agreement, I think the proposal was we think Agent Cerciello is unlikely to end today. Unfortunately for him, I think we're likely that he'll come back tomorrow morning for a little bit. And then I think what we would propose is that we give the jury a long break so that Your Honor can hear the Rule 29 argument and so that Mr. Agnifilo and I can have some time to work out the prior inconsistent statement stipulation he talked about. And then assuming Your Honor denies the Rule 29, we would then have the jury come back after a long break and the defense would put on their case, which I understood would involve offering some evidence and reading some evidence into the record. The defense would then rest, and then we would, on Wednesday morning, have the charge conference, and then that way it would give the parties the rest of the day to incorporate the charge, whatever comes out of the charge conference, into our summations, and we start summations Thursday morning. The court, all right. Mr. Agnifilo, you let me know if there's any issue with that timing or if there's anything else that the defense would request. But otherwise, it seems like we have an agreement, the court. So we will proceed on that basis. Mr. Agnifilo, very good. Thank you. The court, very good. Anything else to address before we check on our jury? Mr. Agnifilo, I don't think I have anything. I don't think there's anything else at this moment. If there is, I'll raise it to your honor. The court, that's okay. We've got 5 minutes. Why don't we take a couple minutes here, and then we'll bring Agent Cerciello out. The court, please be seated. Let's bring back Agent Cerciello. Miss Kamai, your honor, would you like me to get the witness on the stand? The court, yes, I thought I had said that. The court, please be seated. What?
I love it. All right, we're gonna switch up the voice, okay? We're gonna switch up the voice just to kind of keep it. Maybe it might work with other people with some other voices. Let's go ahead. Can we do? You guys want to try Mr. Beast or Gwyneth Paltrow? I'm telling you, Gwyneth will put you to sleep. Can we do Mr. Beast? Let me know. Did Beast get 4%? We're gonna do Mr. Beast, and then we'll switch it back to somebody else, to Snoop. We could do Gwyneth, but I'm telling you, she puts you to sleep. She really does. You said no? No? Okay. Nate, Cliff, or Erica? That's the narrators that we have. You said, Mr. Beast, you want to try it? You said no, no, no. Can we try a little bit and see how he does? Let's try Mr. Beast for a little bit and see how he does, okay? Just a little bit.
Personally,
All right.
Welcome back, members of the jury. Thank you for braving the heat and coming back. Joseph Cerciello resumed. The court, with that, Agent Cerciello, you understand you're still under oath? The witness, yes, sir. The court, Ms. Comey, you may proceed. Ms. Comey, thank you, Your Honor. Direct examination continued by Ms. Comey. Q. Good morning, Agent. A. Good morning. Ms. Comey, I'd like to start by pulling up just for the witness and the parties, Ms. Becker, Government Exhibit J141A, which is the redacted version of J141. And as Ms. Becker's pulling this up, Your Honor, I'm going to offer J141A, and I'm going to withdraw any prior versions of J141 or J141A pursuant to the parties' discussions with Your Honor on Friday. The court, all right. So those prior versions will be withdrawn, and the renewed J141A will be admitted. Ms. Comey, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Comey, I see we're having technical difficulties pulling it up, but if Ms. Garagos is all right with it, I'll move on. Ms. Garagos, yes. No objection to the renewed J141A. Ms. Comey, thank you, Ms. Garagos. All right. Ms. Becker, I'll ask you to please pull up what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 1406 and go to page 7, row 17, please. And we can publish that. And Your Honor, I'm going to be pulling up some exhibits that are sealed pursuant to the pseudonym order, so I'm going to ask that the public screens please be turned off if they're not already. The court, all right. I'll ask the deputy to confirm when that is done. Ms. Comey, but we can go ahead and look at this while we're talking. Can we go to page 7, please, Ms. Becker? And I want to take a look at row 17. Q, Agent, what's the date of this row? P6NWCOM Cerciello, Direct 6992. The second location is Las Vegas, Nevada. Q, and what are the names in this row? A, Jane, Combs, and Paul. Q, and what are the flight records? A, flight records are for Jane 924 Silver Air flight from Van Nuys to Las Vegas. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And 924 Silver Air flight from Las Vegas to Van Nuys. Q, and how about the financials column? A, financial transactions for Paul on 9/26 in the amount of $2,500 cash deposit into Arthur Fitness LLC account. Ms. Comey, I'd like to take a look at some exhibits relating to this date. Let's start with Government Exhibit G102 and pull up pages 31 and 32 side by side, please. The deputy clerk confirming that the overflow 4. Ms. Comey, thank you so much, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Arthur in the green, A, how far? Q, 10 mins, A. Okay. Ms. Comey, and then there's an address and says correct? Can we please go to pages 33 and 34?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's too annoying. Let me look at the poll. So you guys are still leading with Snoop. Should Snoop just finish the document? Let me know. Or should we do Gwen is only 5%. We could try her, but I'm telling you, she puts me to sleep. Or we could try somebody else. You said Snoop? Let me know. Mr. Beast is Beast is like, maybe it's his inflection. I think Snoop actually does pretty good at the reading, but let me know. You said Snoop? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we're back to Snoop, okay?
What up, though? It's Big Snoop D-O-double-G. Q, you can keep reading, Agent. A, no, 200 S Mapleton. Q, on my way. 15 minutes away. Okay. Miss Kamai, we can take that down. Thank you. And now I'd like to look at Government Exhibit C 271R, pages 1 and 2. Please. And can we zoom in on the gray box on the top left of page 1? Please. Q, what's the date of this message exchange? Address for Christina Corn. Q, and does it contain a screenshot of a text with someone named Annika? A, yes, Q, and the screenshot.
Wait, is he jumping? Hold up. Because he asked her, what's the date?
What's the date of this message exchange? Address for Christina
Yeah,
Corn.
okay, read
Q,
here.
and does it contain a what's the date of this message exchange? Address for Christina Corn. Q, and does it contain a screenshot of a text with someone named Annika? A, yes, Q, and the screenshot.
Snoop, hold up. You're skipping. Why are you skipping? Are these not why aren't these highlighted? Okay, so he says, what's the date of the text message exchange? September 24, 2022. Is that the same date we were just reading from? Yes. And who are the participants in this message exchange? Participants are Puff, Christina Quorum, and an email address for Christina Quorum. Comey says, okay, let's look over at page 2. Does the first text here come from Mr. Combs? Yes, it does. Okay, now question.
And does it contain a screenshot of a text with someone named Annika? A, yes, Q, and the screenshot. What does Annika say in the top left? A, hey, love, I have a studio session tomorrow from 3 to 5 p.m. I just remembered, Q. And then are the 4 messages in response in this screenshot. A, wow, Will, okay, damn, I was excited. Move the studio time. I'll pay D. Dot. It really wanted to have fun. Really wanted to have a fun night in Vegas with you. Hit me, no stress either way. I understand. Call me when you can, Q. And then in the next message, does Mr. Combs send Christina Corm an audio message? A, Q, A. The next message in the exhibit, is that an audio message? Yes, it is. P6NWC, OMA, moment, please.
He jumped. Snoop, why are you jumping? Okay. In the next exhibit, the next message in the exhibit, is that an audio message? Yes, it is. Okay, Comey says, I like to listen to it and we'll need to use headphones for that. So if everyone remembers to press the silver button on the top to turn on their headphones, Ms. Becker, do you mind running the test when you have a moment? Please, to make sure everyone's headphones are working. I see. Okay, here it is.
See now some thumbs up. All right. MS Becker, would you please go ahead and play C-27101? MS Kamai. Now let's look back at Government Exhibit C-271AR. Everyone can keep their headphones on. We'll be listening to another audio message in a moment. Can we pull up pages 3 and 4? Or keep your headphones handy, rather. Sorry, Q. Does Mr. Combs then send another audio message? A, yes, MS Kamai. Okay, I'd like to now please listen to it. Let's play Government Exhibit C-271-2. I don't believe this one requires the headphones. The next one will. Kamai. Okay, Your Honor, I think we may just need the headphones because flipping back and forth between the headphones and audio system doesn't seem to be working. We'll do C-271-2, please, by MS Kamai. Q, going back to the text messages, please. And C-271AR, how does Christina respond to these audio messages? P6NWC, OM Cercelo, direct 6996A, and meet us in Vegas at 6:30 p.m. Then she will be with us all night. Better so you can focus on getting performance right when we land. Since you didn't rehearse tonight, Q. And then how does Mr. Combs respond? A, okay. And then sends another audio message. She's going to come. She's just going to fly out and land. MS Kamai. Let's listen
Hold up, Snoop. Hold up. So he reads this. Okay, going back to those messages. How does Christina Corum respond to the audio messages? She's going to come. She's just going to fly out and land and meet us in Vegas at 6:30 p.m. Then she will be with us all night. Better so you can focus on getting performance right when we land, since you didn't rehearse tonight. Okay. And then how does Mr. Combs respond? Okay. And then sends another audio message. Miss Comey says, and he says Kamai, but it's Miss Comey. Let's listen to the audio message. Okay.
And this one does require headphones. C271 or 3, please. MS Bagger. MS Kamai. Let's go back to C minus 271 AR, please. And look at the remaining text messages. And they are at pages 3 and 4. MS Kamai. I like to listen to that.
He's jumping again. Give me 1 second. Let's go back to and listen to the remaining of the messages. Hold up, because this one requires audio. Okay, and after the audio message, how does Quorum respond? Whatever you want, BTW, your nightstand has plan B. The nightstand has plan B in drawers, so you have it. So Christina Quorum was making sure that Diddy was set up with plan B if he needs it. Okay. Maybe that was part of her job duties. I don't know. Could you please read Mr. Combs' response in the next 4 messages? And then it goes. The first message is Mr. Combs liked Christina's first message. Do you think the other girls really want to come? Because if she's flaky, if rather no. Now, F it. I think it's skipping because of the bad words. I'll bring both. LOL. And then question. Then how does Miss Quorum respond? She seems excited when I spoke to her on the phone. So KK is calling girls for him? And then does Mr. Combs send another audio message? Yes. Okay. Comey, let's go back to Comey, Snoop. Let's go back to, hold up. That's not what I wanted to pull. Let's go back to Comey.
Kamai. I like to listen to that, please. MS Bagger, are we able to listen to that publicly? Or do we need to use the headphones? All right, we'll use the headphones. C271 or 4. MS Kamai. Let's go back to C minus 271 AR. Pages 3 and 4, please. Q. We just left. Does Mr. Combs indicate Jane coming? A. Yes, and what does? And in the text after that audio message. MS Kamai. Let's go to pages 5 and 6 of this document. Q. Could you read for us what Mr. Combs writes at the top of this page? A. Keep home, bro, PLS. Thanks. Q. Then does Mr. Combs then send 5 audio messages in a row? A. Yes. MS Kamai. I like to listen to all of those. So MS Bagger, if you would please play, in order, Government Exhibit C 271 or 5, a 6, a 7, a 8, and a 9 back to back. MS Kamai. Was there 271 or 9? Please, MS Bagger. MS Kamai. Let's pull up, please, Government Exhibit C 271 AR again, please, and go to pages 5 and 6. Southern District Reporters, PC, 805 to 0300. P6 NWC, OM Cercelo, Direct 6,998 Guatemalan quetzals. Of the page after sending those voice notes. A. He sends a photo of jewelry. What does Mr. Combs?
Okay, he's tripping. What does Mr. Combs send to Quorum on the right hand of the page after reading those voice notes? He sends a photo of jewelry. And then what does?
Q. And then does he send one more voice note? A. Yes, MS Kamai. Let's listen to that. That will be the last one for this exhibit. Government Exhibit C 271 or 10. MS Kamai. We can set the headphones aside. Thank you so much. Now let's please turn to Government Exhibit C 271 AR, and we can go to page 7 now. Please, MS Bagger. Just page 7. There we go. Q. How does MS Quorum respond to the most recent messages we heard from Mr. Combs? A1. Working on drip. 2. Just will work on hotel options when she's up, but you have a room at the Waldorf Vegas as a backup. 3. Reminder plan B in your nightstand. 4. Is Paul coming to Vegas with you too? 5. Benny the jeweler has Van Cleef. He's giving me some pieces and did all of Young's. And it's the exact same, but at cost. He can get to us this week when he gets back to NYC if you're able to wait. We'll have you a ton. We'll save you a ton. Sorry. Please LMK on last two things. We'll hold on buying until I hear from you. Yes, yes. They are sexual encounters.
Hold up.
Who is that?
Hold up, Snoop. Okay, so they're talking about the jewelry. So there's a jeweler, Benny the jeweler, has the Van Cleef. He's given me some pieces. Okay, he read that. That's a quote. He can get us this week when we get back to NYC if you're able to wait. We'll have a ton and we'll save a ton. We'll save you a ton. Sorry. Please. Okay, he read this part. Now Comey says, can we take that down? Thank you. I'd like to go, please, to government exhibits 1406 and go to page 1. Question. Agent, were there explicit videos cited throughout this chart that we can see on the screen? Yes. Generally, have you reviewed all of the videos that are cited in this chart? Yes. Generally, what did you do? What do those videos show? Sexual encounters. Is there one female in every video? Yes. Who is that? Jane. And is she always with one or more males? Yes. And who, if anyone, were you able to recognize across those videos? I was able to recognize an individual by the name of Cabral and videos that I have seen, Sean Combs. Okay.
And were there other men as well in the videos? Yes, there were. P6NWC, OM Cerciello, correct 7000Q, individually.
Okay, so there were other individual males. Okay. That's what was said before he jumped. And so there's going to be a lot of jumping in here. Hold up. How far did he jump? Who is it, Jane? And is she always with one or more males? Yes. And who, if anyone, were you able to recognize across those videos? I was able to recognize the individual by the name of Cabral and Sean Combs. We read this. And were there any other men as well as in the video? Yes, there were. Are those videos in multiple hours? Yes. And how many of the videos, many minutes long, each video individually? And are many of the videos many minutes long, each individually? Yes. Okay. So then Comey.
Come on. We're not going to play all of those videos here, but we're going to walk through several examples over the next few minutes. So I'm going to ask, please, to turn off the attorney's screens. With the court's permission, I'm going to walk over to Ms. Becker so that I can review her screen. And then I will ask that everyone have headphones available. The court. All right, that's fine. Ms. Kamai, Ms. Becker, before you pull up the videos, if you could keep up 1406, page 1, and look at row 3. Now, looking at row 3, what's the date of this row? November 8th, 2021 to November 10th, 2021. Ms. Kamai. Okay, I'd like to pull up the
jumping again. Okay. Let's see. Okay, November, he read these dates. Can you just point out for the jury how you can know which exhibits are the explicit videos cited here? The explicit exhibits are marked with an X or a GX or AX or GX. Does GX mean government exhibit? I'm sorry. Yes, they would be AX exhibits. Okay. And there are multiple sites for the particular date? Yes. Okay, Comey.
Okay. I'd like to pull up the metadata for those. Let's go to Government Exhibit AX 102, pages 1 and 2. Please, P6NWC, OM Cerciello, Direct Q, range we just saw in the chart. Is this the metadata for multiple videos from that date?
Is this the metadata for multiple videos from that date range we saw in the chart? Yes.
Yes, Q. And so are there multiple videos from this date? Yes, Ms. Kamai. I want to look at a clip from one example. Can we go to row 4 at the top of page 2, please? And look at the creation date in the bottom of the middle column. Please, Q. What's the creation date? January 11th, 2021. Ms. Kamai.
I will say that Snoop has this isn't like a straight read. There's some inflection in the voice. It's just that the AI Snoop is jumping all over the place, but I can appreciate the little inflection stuff. And I mean, here's my only concern is that if I leave this playing for an hour and 32 minutes, is it going to skip all over? We're going to test it tonight because I want to try it. But you guys got to tell me the quality in the chat and leave me a comment. Like if you go back and listen to it, leave me a comment and let me know, because I'm down to use it, especially if it's going to catch me up on everything else that I'm behind. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe there's something I need to change.
I'd like to go ahead and play a clip from that. Please, MS Becker, would you please pull up AX102D and play the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds? MS Kamai, we can take that down. Thank you, MS Becker. Let's go back to 1406, please. Page 2, row 5, Q. What's the date of row 5? Agent, row 5 is December 3rd, 2021 to December 6th, 2021. And what explicit video or videos are cited in this row? AX103 and AX103A, MS. Kamai, I'd like to look at the metadata, please. Let's go to Government Exhibit AX to 103. And I want to look at row 1, Q. What's the creation date at the bottom middle of the column? A creation date, December 4th, 2021. MS Kamai, let's please pull up Government Exhibit AX103A. And I'd like to play from 50 seconds through the end of the video. Please, MS Kamai. Let's go back to 1406, page 3, row 6, please. Q row 6. Agent, my question for you would be, what is the date for this? A, row 6, December 17th, 2021 to December 21st, 2021. Q, another multiple explicit video cited in this row. A, yes, Q. Let's look at some metadata. MS Kamai, can you pull up AX104? MS Becker, you can zoom out of that, please. Are we seeing the metadata for one of the videos cited in the row we were just looking at? A, yes, MS Kamai. I'm sorry, MS Becker. Could you zoom back in and highlight the creation date, please? Q, what's the creation date? January 12th, 2021. MS Kamai, let's watch a clip of this. Can we please pull up the Government Exhibit AX104 and play just the first 45 seconds? Please, MS Kamai. Now let's please pull up the metadata for other videos from this date. Let's go to Government Exhibit AX.
So they're going, this is the government exhibits. And mind you, nobody's in the courtroom is able to see these government exhibits, okay? And he's having to answer all of these questions. Yeah, we're going to pick another voice, but I like Snoop in the please. Let's pick another voice. And I'm going to go Cliff, the founder, who is a male, and Erica, narrator. I mean, there's a couple we could do. Why don't we do, should we do a male or female voice? Let me know. I know, Laura, you like it much better when I read, but I have to be able to take a break from my voice, guys. So I have to do what I have to do. Again, I've repeated that, so I just want to make sure people are aware. Should we do male or female? Let me know. Which one would be better? Y'all are saying nothing. Female? Okay, female. Okay, if I get like 3 more of the same responses, then I'll pick that one. The first 3. 1. I only see 1 female. Anybody else? Does anybody care? Thank you, Ebony. I appreciate it. Female. Inflection plus skipping 2 is too much. Yeah, female. Everybody said female. Okay.
Hi, I'm Erica. I will help you read more with Speechify.
That sounds like a good female.
Hey, I'm Mary. Let's read more so you can do more.
Hi, my name is Cliff Weitzman. I'm the founder of Speechify.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Erica. 101, page 1, please. Q. Agent, is this metadata for additional videos related to the same date range that we were looking at? A. Yes. Miss Comey, I'd like to go to page 18, please. Q. Looking at the number next to video, are there approximately P6NQCOM search yellow, direct 7,450 explicit videos recorded during the date range in row 6 of 1,406? A. Yes. Miss Comey, we're going to watch clips from 2 of those. Let's start with Act 701-65, please. And would you please play the whole video, Miss Becker? Miss Comey, now, let's play Act 701-79. Would you please play the first 45 seconds, and then I'll tell you the next clip to play, please. Miss Comey, please go ahead to minute 3 and play until the 5-minute mark. Miss Comey, skip ahead to 7 minutes and 40 seconds and play to the end, please, Miss Becker. Miss Comey, let's go back to 1406, page 4, please, Miss Becker. And we'll look now at row 8. Q. Agent, what's the date of row 8? P6 NQCOM search yellow. Direct 7005 ahead to the 2-minute mark, and play until the 3-minute and 30-second mark, please. Let's go now back to 1406, please, page 4, row 9. Q. What is the date of this row? Q. Are there multiple explicit videos cited in this row? Q. Is this metadata for videos related to the entry we were—
Hold up, girls. Erica's jumping. So what is the date of this row? February 14, 2022 to February 16, 2022. Are there multiple explicit videos cited in this row? Yes, there are. Okay, Comey says, I'd like to look at the metadata for some, so they pulled this. Okay.
Q. Is this metadata for videos related to the entry we were just looking at in 1406? A. Yes. Miss Comey, I'd like to pull up a clip of one now. Let's go to Government Exhibit AX 105C. We'll play from the beginning through the 1-minute mark, please. Miss Comey, let's go metadata for more videos from this date, please. Let's go to AX 703, page 9, please. Q. Agent, is this metadata for more videos related to the same row of 1406? A. Yes, it is. Q. Are there multiple videos from that date range? A. Yes. Miss Comey, we're going to watch clips from a couple. Let's start with AX 703-42. Play from the 2-minute mark to the P6NQ-COM. 3-minute mark, please. Miss Comey, let's go now to Government Exhibit AX 703-91. We'll play until the 1-minute and 30-second mark, please, and then pause it. Miss Comey, let's skip ahead to the 4-minute mark and then play until the 5-minute mark, and then you can take this down, Miss Becker. Miss Comey, let's go back to 1406, page 6, please, row Q. Would you tell us the citation for that, please? Miss Comey, I'd like to—
I'm muted. They're skipping. Looking at row 16, what's the date? Agent, August 30th, 2022. Again, these are dates of the videos to August 31st, 2022. Does this row also have an explicit video? Yes, it does. Would you be able to tell the citation for that? That would be Government Exhibit EX-166. Okay. I'd like to look at the metadata for that. Can we pull up EX166M and zoom in at the last modified date, please? Okay.
Can we pull up X166M and zoom in on the last modified date, please? Miss Comey, I'm going to play a clip of this video X166. Please play the first 60 seconds and then take it down, Ms. Becker. Miss Comey, let's go back to 1406, page 7, row 19, please. Q. What is the date of row 19? A. October 8th, 2022 to October 9th, 2022. Q. Does this also have an explicit video? Miss Comey, this is the last clip we'll watch. Let's go to
Does this also have an explicit video? It does. It skipped that. Comey, is this the last clip we'll watch? Let's go to Government Exhibit. Is there media place? Comey says,
Comey, thank you, Miss Becker. You can take that down, and we can turn the attorney's screens back on, and folks can set aside their headphones. Q. Agent, have you reviewed the remaining videos cited in the chart? A. I have. A. Yes, they do. Q. In total, do they last many hours? Q. We're not going to play clips from the rest, but I want to point out the other rows that cite videos. A. August 8th, 2024. Q. Does this also—
girl jumped a whole page. We're not going to play clips from the rest, but I want to point out the rows inside that video. Comey said, let's go back to Government Exhibit 1406, page 9, please. You can turn on for the attorney's screen. Thank you, Ms. Becker. Okay, so they're literally looking at pages and dates, y'all. So I'm not going to, maybe it's a good thing that they skipped it, but looking at page 9, row 24, what is the date? These are dates. I mean, nothing really other than exhibits that we can't see and they're not made for the public. So I don't know how much you guys want me to get into this. More explicit videos. Look at the dates. Does this have an explicit video? It does. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make the executive decision to skip all those dates because we can't even see any of that content and we're not supposed to.
Have explicit video. Ms. Comey, we can take down 1406. I want to move on now to a different chart. Let's go to Government Exhibit 1408. Q reviewed 4 charts in total for this case, is that right? A, correct. And as we're pulling it up, I want to ask you said you. Q, do the 3 other than 1406 take a deeper dive at the evidence of some of the date ranges in 1406? A, yes. Q, we're going to look at those now. Ms. Comey, can we please pull up what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 1408? Q. Now, agent, looking at the dates for this chart, is this a deeper dive at the row in 1406 that covers September 17 through June 19, 2023? Ms. Comey, I want to take a look at that row in 1406 before we go
Hold
through.
up, Erica. The question now, agent, looking at the dates for this chart, is this a deeper dive at the row 1406 that covers September 17 to the 19, 2023? Yes, it does. Okay.
Ms. Comey, I want to take a look at that row in 1406 before we go through this chart. Can we please go back to 1406, page 14, row 35, Ms. Becker? Q. Looking at row 35, could we please take a look? What is the date range for this row? Q. Let's look at the next column, please. What are the names? A. Jane Combs.
Hold up. And what is the location? What is the location? Located in Trump International Hotel, New York, New York. And the Whitby, New York, New York. Let's look at the next column, please. What are the names? Jane, Combs, Robert, and Cabral.
Q. Let's go to the next column, please. What are the flight records? A flight record for Jane on 9/17, a flight from LAX to JFK, and a flight record for Cabral, 9/18 United flight from Atlanta to Newark.
Okay, and then September 19, United flight from Newark to Atlanta. And finally, let's look at the financial columns, please. It's a financial record in the name of Robert on September 21st, 1,000 Venmo payment from Jane to Bridget Collins for remaining balance. Okay.
9/21. There's a $500 Zelle payment from Collins Productions to Robert Bose for remaining balance. And Cabral, there's a financial transaction on 9/19. Jane texts, I'm going to ask what the status of the cash is now. Hit you in few. Q. Thank you. 23 Ms. Comey. Let's go now to Government Exhibit 1408-24 again. 25 Guatemalan quetzals. Can you tell us generally what is contained in this chart? P6NQCOM Cerciello.
Wait, did she say 27 Guatemalan pretzels? Why did I hear Guatemalan pretzels? Am I hearing things?
25 Guatemalan quetzals. Can you tell us generally what is contained in this chart? P6NQCOM Cerciello. Direct 7011 in this chart are names, date ranges. A. Business name, which is a hotel or airline, a dollar amount, a payment method, and the account holder of that payment method. Q. So is name the customer consuming the service that's being paid for here? A. Correct. Q. And is date the date that the service is provided? Service. A. Correct. Q. What are the brackets under each business name?
I'm going to have to find out why it's jumping. And it's the date of service provided. Yes. And the business name, the business that's provided the service. Correct. What are the brackets under each business name? The corresponding government exhibits.
Q. Does that government exhibit provide the source for the name, date, and business columns? Q. And what information is contained in amount? 2223 Guatemalan quetzals. And
Guatemalan quetzals. What is a Guatemalan quetzal? And it jumped again. This is going to bother me. Okay, so what are the brackets under the each business says? The corresponding government exhibit. Does the government provide the source for the name, date, and business column? It does. And what information is contained in the amount? Would be the dollar amount of the service. What information is contained in the payment method? Payment method would be the way in which that payment, the service, was made for. And what is the bracket underneath the payment method in each row?
24A. Those would also be the corresponding government exhibits. 25 Guatemalan quetzals. Do those contain the amount, the payment method, and the account holder? A. Yes. Q. Is it just those three names?
Okay. Do those contain the amount, the payment method, and the account holder? Yes. And what is contained in the account holder? That would be the name of the account of the payment method. I want to look through these rows. Who are the three names in the name column on the chart? First one is Jonathan Perez, Jane Cabral Williams, and Jane again.
Q. Is it just those three names? Miss Comey, I'd like to look at the record cited here, Miss Becker. Would you please pull up Government Exhibit 7Y to 120 side by side with 7Y to 121? Q. What kinds of records are these? A. These are hotel bills for reservation. 1 Guatemalan quetzal. Looking at the top left.
Not a Guatemalan quetzal. Okay, so they're looking at records. Are these hotel bills for reservation? Looking at the bottom left footer of each of these, what is the address below? 1 Central Park West, New York, 123 is the same address in both records. Yes, it is the question. Is the same address in both records? Yes, it is. In what borough is the address located? Manhattan. Okay.
1 Guatemalan quetzal. Looking at the top left of these records just below Hotel 2 name, what is the name underneath the hotel logo on each of three of these documents? 4A. Jonathan Perez. 5 Guatemalan quetzals. For 7Y to 120 on.
You said it. So is she reading currency? That's weird, but it's not like we're seeing a currency sign. I thought she said Guatemalan pretzels. She kept saying that over and over. I don't know. It's not saying Guatemalan bank account. I didn't even say anything about Guatemala. Where is she bringing Guatemala in? Looking at the top left of these records, just below the hotel name, what is the name underneath the hotel logo in each of these documents? Jonathan Perez. Okay.
4A. Jonathan Perez. 5 Guatemalan quetzals. For 7Y to 120 on the left, what is the room number looking at 6 the top right? 7A. Room number is 0508. 8 Guatemalan quetzals. What's the arrival date for that room? 9A.
Oh, I see what's going on. So the translator is reading the Q. Quetzals. There's some symbol in here that makes her believe that we're talking about Guatemalan currency. That sounds like money, right? Nothing to do with the transcripts. It's literally the AI person reading it. So I'm like, can we get away from that? Or what is it going to be a problem all day or what?
Arrival September 17th, 2023. 10 Guatemalan quetzals. What is the checkout date? 11A. Departure at September 18th, 2023. 12 Guatemalan quetzals.
So she's going to say Guatemalan quetzals every time she sees the 12 in the Q. Anytime she sees the Q, it's going to be quetzals. So she's like, I guess that's currency. Now, okay, let me stop right here because I do have to go, guys. I could leave this running this way. Let me know if you want it running, or should we just call it a night? Because clearly I feel like I didn't even, I can leave it running. If you guys feel like you can deal with Erica, the translator, let me know. Let me know. Should we take a vote? Was that too much? Should we leave the Erica, the translator, or call it a night? You're over it? I'm over it? You are? You don't like it? It keeps skipping. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, and I was so excited because I thought I found something. Call it a night? Let me see. Leave it. You guys are saying call it a night. Call it a night. Leave it. Let me see what you guys are saying. Go vote, please, and thank you. Call it. Good night. Good night. Don't make a mistrial out of this. Probably. You said, and if she says a bad word gets you canceled, says Aaron. Yeah, that could be, because I'm not watching it like that. That's a good point. You guys, let me know. I was so excited. Maybe I got to find out how to maybe there's certain things I got to move from the document. Just sounds like a pain in the ass. But let me know what you guys think. Call it a night. Okay, see, call it a night. All right. So I'm gonna do that. But I'm gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out because I like how quick it is. And by the way, since we're on the document, I might as well just show you. Where are we at? They go. I mean, and Tini Garagos isn't doing like anything crazy other than just questioning the evidence and the charts and stuff like that. They're making motions for Rule 29. Let's see what they say about the end of the day. Hold up. I think I would prefer to do this. See, when there's no question, is a little bit different. Maybe we can do a read from here. Hold up. For the end of the day of the court to get us going. Shapiro. Anything else to address? The court. Maybe we can read it from here. Hold up. Because this is giving us what they're planning to do. And there's no Q or A part. Jury not present. Okay.
The court, see you tomorrow. I'm sure you've been told this, but you're not allowed to speak with the government. The court, please be seated. Miss Comey, anything to raise before we adjourn? Miss Comey, no, I don't believe so, Your Honor. The court, Miss Garagos, anything to raise before we adjourn? How much time do you think you have left? Miss Garagos, an hour and 15, I guess. Based on what I just did, it would seem like another hour and 15. It might be a little bit longer, but the court, take as much time as you need. There will be a couple of hours in the morning, and at that point I think the proposal was that we would have the jury take a break, a long break, handle the Rule 29 motions, and then tomorrow the defense would be prepared, if the Rule 29 motions are denied, to present their case tomorrow. Is that right? Miss Garagos, that's right. I think there may be, I'm looking at Miss Estavo, there may be some evidentiary issues for Your Honor to work out tomorrow morning that we have been conferring with the government on, if I have that right. Once they are done, we will be able to present our case once we have that worked out. The court, all right? And so then Wednesday in the morning charge conference, Miss Garagos, if that's how Your Honor, that's fine. The court, Wednesday morning charge conference. That will give the parties time to integrate the charge into their closings, and we'll have closings on Thursday. Is there anything that we need to address in terms of the mechanics of the closings? Like how long, ballpark? Again, I'm not holding anybody to anything, but I just want to know for scheduling purposes what we anticipate. A minimum, like give me whatever you want. Ms. Garagos, I would guess based on our conversations, the government's will be at least 4 hours, ours will be at least 4 hours. I don't expect the charge to happen until, midday Friday. The court, so the parties will think in their minds about the appropriate places for breaks. Miss Garagos, yeah. The court, if you want it to be, I'm happy to tell the jury to just sit tight for the entire thing, but Miss Garagos, no. I think usually in these types of closings, we probably take a break in between at the 2-hour mark. That's my experience. We'll talk about it though. The court, I'm just trying to map it out. Whatever the parties come up with, that's fine by me. So we'll do that. On Thursday or part of the day on Friday. Charge the jury on Friday, and then the jury will deliberate. Have we worked out the laptop and other exhibits? Ms. Garagos, the government has put together the laptop. I'm going to review it myself with at least the government paralegals. I'm not sure how many of the AUSAs. And we'll do that today. So if there are any issues, tomorrow we'll be able to bring those to the court. The court, I really put in that Monday deadline just to make sure we had it, but now that we have it, Ms. Garagos, we have it. They've loaded it. we are just going to review it. We want to make sure the right exhibits are on there and review everything to make sure the 106 issues and everything that we've been talking about, and the right exhibits are on the laptop. The court, I will ask in an appropriate place on Thursday, for reasons I'm sure you appreciate, that it's on there. Ms. Garagos, I understand. The court, and there will be, I believe, a monitor and hookup for the laptop, so people don't need to be crowded around the laptop screen. Ms. Garagos, I was going to ask that. The court, I think that we have a screen and an ability to hook that into the laptop. Anything else that comes to mind to address? Ms. Garagos, Ms. Shapiro is standing up. Ms. Shapiro, Your Honor, I just had a quick question about the format of what you want from the parties with respect to the court's draft charge for the charge conference. So we're going to meet and confer with the government this afternoon, and maybe we will be able to do it in a format the court suggested. However, in the event, as I understand, the government may have very substantial objections and revisions to propose, and whether, I don't know if that's the case, but they had indicated it might be. And if that's the case, I suspect we will have a lot of objections to their objections. And so what I wanted to ask the court was whether the court would give parties some leeway. Depending how the meet and confer goes, it may be more efficient simply to have each side put in their proposals, and then rather than trying to put together a document that's just filled with redline and comment bubbles that are very hard to decipher. So that was just the request. Hopefully, when they said substantial revisions, they didn't really mean it, and we won't have those problems, but I just wanted to see if the court would give us a little flexibility if the parties determine it may be more efficient to proceed in a slightly different way. The court, I agree that it would be more efficient. P6NQ-COM. Ms. Shapiro, I'm just worried that we may have a lot of objections to what they're proposing, and I want to make sure the court can see what they are, and that we are not somehow, at a disadvantage because there's not enough time and it's not clear enough what our problems are with what their proposals are. The court, so you're going to try to give me one version, but if it isn't feasible for the reasons that you've identified, then each side would have their own version. And as to, let's say, that in the RICO conspiracy section you have a couple of proposed additions, you would have a comment bubble that explains those. And then you would also address what the government has put in their proposal because you would have already talked about that. Meaning, I could go section by section with the two drafts, and I would understand both sides' positions on everything. Is that fair? Ms. Shapiro, yes, that's the idea. I'm just asking for a little flexibility if it turns out we need it. It's going to be efficient for you as well to have the court, it's fine, as long as there's just two versions, and not two versions along with other materials, because I just don't want to miss anything. I want to make sure I've captured all the parties' arguments. Ms. Shapiro, that's fine. I will say we may have a short letter for one or two particular issues where we feel like we need to explain it a little more. The court, where you can't fit it in a comment bubble? Ms. Shapiro, right, thank you. Ms. Slavic, just one more question, Your Honor. For the summations on Thursday and Friday, did the court intend to set the full day or abbreviated 3-day? The court, on Thursday. Ms. Slavic, on Thursday and Friday. The court, I think I would prefer to do the full day because otherwise we're talking about, 4 or 5 hours? It's going to be disjointed. I think the parties should talk and see if they could come up with a proposal that makes sense. As I said, I was happy to keep them there longer if it makes sense in light of what they're hearing, and I don't want to disrupt either side's presentation. So that's my main goal. So I'm happy, and I'm sure the jury will appreciate that they're staying, but it's for a critical part of the case. Ms. Slavic, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Garagos, we'll discuss and let Your Honor know. The court, anything to address from either side? We'll see everyone here tomorrow at 8:30. United States District Court, Southern District of New York.
Okay, we're not doing that again. Okay, so I see what the issue is. So when it's doing a regular read through, it can read everything. Like this, we had no issues with Snoop Dogg earlier when he was reading everything. It's when there's like the little brackets. I guess there's something with currency that's the Guatemalan currency and the back and forth that makes it very difficult for the AI to pick up. So we have to figure that out. So I'll look into that and see if that's something that could be fixed. But I mean, that's where we got to. At least we got to know what's going to happen tomorrow. She left Snoop Dogg in the dust. Yeah, so that is what we have. I'm going to call it a night because I got to get up tomorrow morning early and I'm tired. So I got to go do that. You guys, let me know what you think in the comments about this whole situation. If you understood anything, give me some feedback. But this is my first time using the service and I like it. Maybe I need to tweak it a little bit or something, but I do like it. Let me know what you guys let me know what you guys think. If I could tweak it, I could probably make it work, but I have to see because that's just too much skipping, like way too much skipping. So I'll see you guys later. I gotta go hit the like button. Bye guys, and thank you, Sylvia, for supporting the channel. Thank you. Bye guys. Bye.